Hey there, viewers. It's Charlie on back again, and welcome back to the G1 Marathon. Now, today's review is going to be a bit different as it's a Generation 2 figure, but technically it's still a recolor of a G1 figure. Today, I shall review Generation 2 Silverbolt. Now, as we can see, he's been recolored into this nice blue, but of course, we have to look at his tech spec. And as you can see, it's actually a bit different from the G1 tech specs. It's more a rectangle. Well, it's more a square than a rectangle. Excuse me. But reading this. Function. Aerial bot commander. Don't look down. Look straight ahead. A brave and grimly determined warrior. Selected by Optimus Prime to command the aerial bots. Good for him. A task that keeps Silverbolt worrying more about his teammates than about himself. In jet mode, can reach speed of Mach 1.9 with a range of 4,500 miles. Carries electrostatic discharger rifle, which I don't have, and expertly uses it to blast Decepticons. Forms Superion with his fellow aerial bots. Now, sadly, I don't have the other G2 aerial bots, and well, even if I did, G2 Slingshot is actually quite fragile because he has gold plastic. So, yeah, if I ever want to have a Superion, I might just need to get the G1 Slingshot. But for now, I have Silverbolt, and that's okay. Now, having a look at his actual tech spec, here we can see. And instead of the lines, it's instead these little blocks, and I think this is much easier to read. I'm glad they did this change, because now it's way easier to read. But, well, anyway, strength is 6, intelligence is 8, speed is 9, endurance, rank, courage, and firepower are all 8, and skill is 5. So yeah, I'm also glad they changed the tech specs to have the little block things instead of the lines, as I just find it way easier to read. But well, having a look at the actual figure itself, as I said, this guy's been recolored to have this nice blue color scheme. Here we can see the Silverbolt sticker there, so we know what his name is. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, this guy is a Concorde jet. So yeah. Here you have the tail fin, which says 5 on it. The other side also says Silverbolt. The top, which looks rather silvery, like this is just plain die-cast metal. Here it says 5 again. And here it also says Silverbolt. And the underneath, which of course has robot shite underneath. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the jet mode. I mean, now, just like Motormaster and the other Combiner guys' torsos, this guy does have a third mode, although, well, unlike Motormaster, this guy doesn't have a built-in ramp. His ramp is actually available separately. Or well, his ramp is separate, and I don't have that piece, so I'm not going to show either the base mode or the Superion torso mode, as I don't have the head bit for Superion either. Sorry. But well, I do have this bit. This is supposed to be one of his missile launchers. I don't have the missile, sadly, but I can just peg in under there, like so. And you can even leave it on for the transformation, although I'm just going to take it off. And speaking of transformation, let's just do it. So take the tail fin and just fold it up. Take the landing gear, lift that up. Move the wings up. Take the legs, move them down, and turn them around 180 degrees. Like so. Try and lift up your camera. Come here, move this down. Move the entire nose cone section down. And finally, move up his head. In here, we have Silverbolt in his robot mode. Oh yeah, don't forget to extend out his fists. So, yeah. This guy is actually pretty tall. Well, I have to move him quite a bit back. Having a 360. Of course, he just has the entire jet on his back. But yeah. Having a look at his head, we can see that, from what I can remember, the original Silverbolt figure from G1, the eyes were colored yellow, whereas with this version, they're colored red. As you saw, this bit can move up, but still in this bit, I think this is supposed to be the launcher for the ramp mode. Although I don't know why you'd want to launch jets from a ramp. If anything, you should be doing that from an aircraft carrier like broadside. And here, right on his stomach, and they even gave him a belly button. It says Autobot, and it has the G2 Autobot insignia. Every G2 figure had this, which just... Every Generation 2 figure had a picture of what the character's faction was and the insignia. Now, from what I can remember with Megatron, I don't remember seeing a Decepticon version of this on him, although I could be mistaken. As I have reviewed G2 Megatron in the past, so don't expect to see him in this marathon, as I have reviewed him. So having a look at Silverbolt's articulation, the head can't move side to side, although you can look down. Arms, surprisingly, can't move up. He can't move out either, although he does move at the elbow. The legs, he can kick up, although he can't move back. And sadly, he can't do much of the splits, although he can do an A stance to assert dominance over the aerial bots. And he can move his feet, but that's pretty much it for his articulation. I mean, the fact that he can't even move his shoulders is baffling. Because, I mean, like, what if he wants to shoot Motormaster in the face? He can't. He can only shoot him right in the stomach. Whereas with Motormaster, he can move his arm up. I mean, sure, it's like midway, but he can still move his entire arm. And even Onslaught and I can't even speak. Even Onslaught and Hotspot had shoulders that can move. So, yeah. Now, as I said, you can put this in his robot modes. It doesn't go in his hands, sadly, but it still goes on his wing. Just rotates it like so. Sure, the arm gets in the way, but if you move it up enough, then yeah. And as an extra displaying option, even though I don't have Superion's head or waist, I do have his chest piece, and if you want to, you can display Silverbolt with this on. Although, me personally, I don't. I just put this in a little spare parts box. For if I ever do find the other pieces of Superion, probably not, because, as I said, Slingshot is quite brittle, so... But, yeah, this is pretty much just all I have to say about Silverbolt here. I mean, complaints... Well... These legs can be quite fragile, as the hinges can often break. I mean, that hasn't happened with my one yet, but it could happen one day. Second, the shitey articulation. I mean, I know most G1 figures don't really move that well at the legs, but at least most G1 figures are able to move their shoulders. I mean, just moving your elbows isn't really that good enough. And third, well, this is more about Superion. This is more about Superion. I hate how they gave Slingshot the gold plastic, so it's really hard to have a complete G2 Superion. I know that's more about Slingshot than it is Silverbolt, but it's still a gripe for me. But well, do I still recommend Silverbolt? Well, if you're a G1 or G2 fan, or if you're an 80s or 90s collector, I say that because this guy came out in the 90s. But still, despite his lack of articulation and the fact that it's really hard to have a complete G2 Superion, if you just want Silverbolt himself, then he's not bad. I mean, his jet mode is pretty cool looking, and, well, say you're not a fan of this guy's blue colors, well, there's always the G1 colors, aka the OG colors. Or if you want Silverbolt to have more articulation, then go for Combiner Wars Silverbolts. There's even been a G2 recolor of Combiner Wars Silverbolt if you want this guy to have more articulation, but you want him to have these colors. So, whether you want Silverbolt to have silver, blue, or more articulation, there is something for you. So, this has been my review on Generation 2 Silverbolt, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.